Our next speaker is Scott Cummings from PBS Kids, and he is part of the team that recently launched the MMO Cart King, and so here he is.
All right, so before I start into my presentation, I just had to say last night I wondered about something. I wondered what in the world this concoction from yesterday that we were looking at actually tasted like. So I thought in the interest of a conference all about measurement and assessment, we should find out. So I'm going to take one for the team. That is tangy and fruity and actually not all that bad. So there we go. We've measured that somewhat. Whenever I was asked to talk here, I felt like, well, I probably know the least about all of this sort of stuff because we work on stuff for really young kids. But I got some really wise words of advice, just either talk about something that you know or make something up. So I'll let you guys decide what I'm up to today. So I want to talk about formative making in DIY spaces. So we work on mostly preschool stuff at PBS Kids, and this is the sort of formative experience you would expect for a preschooler. It's popsicle sticks, it's cardboard, it's crayons, it's all sorts of hands-on things. But there's a very wide range of tools and different skills and abilities that happen from the time that a kid first puts two things together to make something, whatever that is, if it's just a sticker on a piece of paper, all the way up through when just a few years later, it's really not all that long until we're expecting them to do something a little bit more like this. So I wanted to talk about just some innovative stuff in the preschool formative makerspace, and a lot of it has to do with digital and digital plus the real world. And a couple of questions that I just want to kind of keep in mind is, what's different about today's preschool DIY and maker spaces versus what was there in the past? It's a lot of it's still the same. They're still using popsicle sticks and cardboard and crayons, but things have changed. And then, based off of what's changed, how does that inform their future expectations for how they're going to make things? Formative experiences, what we've seen at PBS Kids throughout the years is that, the interfaces that kids are, put into in the digital space, they don't have an expectation of the way that they should work. They don't know what a button is. And so whatever it is that they're first put in front of, it's actually going to form their expectation of the way that future things are going to act. So think a little bit about that. So this is my formative digital maker space right here, a Turbo Pascal IDE with about an 800-page manual a number of years ago. So things have changed a lot since then. I wasn't in preschool whenever I used that, by the way. I was a little bit older, but I think it's important actually to keep in mind that our formative experiences with a lot of these things happen maybe at work with having to do an email for the first time, or at school being told you're going to learn to computer program or use Word or whatever. But kids are coming at it nowadays from they're a very blank slate. They don't have any expectations. So here's what a digital makerspace looked like a couple of years ago for a preschooler. And there's an awful tool that we inflicted upon them called the mouse that was just impossible to use. But here's what it looks like now. And the big difference is intuitive interfaces, really, one-to-one with the input systems. So a few things that we've been excited about that we've been seeing in the digital makerspace for the preschoolers. This is Lazu Artbox. So kids can draw in it, and this is really for the very youngest ones. 2-year-olds can easily use it. They can draw in it, and then their drawings become part of animated interactive stories that are really rich, and to a kid look pretty much like they're watching a cartoon. It's really cool stuff, and it's very easy to use. Another really cool tool that we've seen in the digital space, this is Doc McStuffins Draw and Play, so I am allowed to talk about competitor stuff. This is a Disney app. And so in this, what kids are actually doing, and this is for very young ones too, they are manipulating 3D models and they're texturing them, and then they're using them in a sandbox space. So it's really intuitive and it would seem really simple, but they're doing some pretty sophisticated stuff because the designers have done a really killer job of putting an interface in front of a 2-year-old that they can use to actually manipulate and texture models. So we're getting into a little bit older stuff here. This is Wonderbox. This is kind of more of a challenge-based space, so it challenged you to do creations, to learn with other people and to share with other people in a really safe way that 3, 4, 5-year-olds can do. So it's starting to introduce the idea of the community makerspace to kids, and it's built into the tool right there where they have it, whereas I would say the community for the last two products we're looking at, it's really the parents and teachers. You know, you save your image of what you made and you show it to mom, and that's your community. Toca Builders is another cool one. Basically, they took Minecraft and spread out the different functions you need to make 3D voxel-based stuff into different characters, so each character does a little bit different function. Tell a Story. This is a really cool app that allows you to basically make TV shows, music videos, and then share them with the community, and share them with your friends, share them with your parents, and it's extremely intuitive. It's really easy to use, and I'm afraid they're going to put us out of the television business any days now. So one really important aspect of this whole suite of products I was talking about is there's tons of them. They're very popular. And the minute that someone comes out with a good idea, everyone else is going to take it, and they take it and they make it better, and they come out with the next thing. So it's really pushing kids' expectations of what they can do. Here's another one that starts getting into the physical plus digital, Tinker Play by Autodesk. So in this one, you can a kid can intuitively put together a 3D model of an action figure, 3D print it, and then have an actual action figure that they made. And I've seen a 4-year-old do this with just a slight amount of help getting that USB onto the 3D printer. Some other ones that really start getting into the community aspects and some more deep dives into the spaces older kids can go. GameStar Mechanic Jr., you can make games, share games, and you learn about game design and systems thinking through it. Everyone's familiar with Scratch and the communities that are possible there. And you can take Scratch a lot deeper into the physical space now with some tools like a Moss Robotics kit that you can program. So quickly, so the questions we asked, what is the difference between today and yesterday? A myriad of tools, super intuitive input and tools and interfaces, digital plus physicals and expectation and communities built straight into the products. So how does that change kids' expectations? They're going to want things to be more intuitive. They're going to expect more touch. They're going to want seamless experiences. They don't want to have to go find the community, but they want it to be right there in the products. And they want all that stuff just to come in one cool package. So, what is the future going to look like in 10 years? I don't know, but I think it'll change. And the kids' expectations of today are going to help drive that. So thank you very much.